Welcome to the Crypto Domain, your front row seat to crypto's biggest moves. This week, we're going to have a look at the market. We're going to have a look at the top indicators. We're going to have a look at the 10 key categories that we look at each week. Let's get into it. This week in crypto has really been marked by some heightened volatility. Anyone can see that in the markets, especially of what's going on at the moment. You've got significant developments across the markets. You've got the regulation. You've got Bitcoin dipping below 104K. You've got the geopolitical tensions that are going on with Israel and Iran, which is concerning for everyone globally, obviously. You've got Ethereum and Sol. So they've also seen notable declines, not just Bitcoin. You've seen institutional interest remaining strong, which is really good. You've had Circle's IPO soared by over 170%. Other firms like Gemini and Kraken obviously preparing for public listings in the US as well. You got bipartisan momentum advanced with the Clarity and the Genius bills. So a lot going on in that space. That'll hopefully provide some clearer framework, obviously, for the whole digital asset market. You've had Australia grappling with a $190 million crypto-linked money laundering case. And that underscores the ongoing security challenges, right, that we face in crypto in general, and we all already know about. Overall, though, while short-term market sentiment has wavered, long-term confidence in crypto's institutional adoption and regulatory maturity has definitely continued to build, which is absolutely awesome. Now, if we look at the top 5 tokens that have been trending on X this week, unsurprisingly, Bitcoin's one of them. So that's obviously been the most talked about token on X, especially with the price movement that we've had. We've still seen some good ETF inflows over this week, like a lot of really good. I've only got the first 4 days data up to date at the moment. It hasn't closed off for the Friday at the time of recording this, unfortunately. But, let's see where that ends up. Solana is another one that's been trending. It's had quite a bit of price movement during the week. You've got the Seeker mobile launch, which is sparking some developer enthusiasm in that space. So that's another big one. XRP, which I know there's a lot of the XRP army out there. So, they've had a lot going on. They've got Japan partnerships. They've got ETF speculation. There's a lot of optimism around the June 17th SEC case decision, so we'll see what happens in that space next week. You got SWI as well is another trending one. So a lot of the top tokens have been trending at the moment. So you've got those, the fast transactions, obviously, DeFi project growth. You got retail investors highlighting, as always, the scalability of that platform. And finally, Ethereum. There's been a lot of talk around Ethereum this week, all over X. I've seen some price movement, which has obviously driven a lot of that. You've also got their ETF has been going off this week, and we'll touch on that a bit later, but it's been going really well all the first 4 days. I'm probably expecting Friday in Bitcoin and Ethereum. By the time this gets released, there may be some pullback in those ETFs, but so far for the first 4 days, we haven't had a red day. So let's see how that plays out for the Friday. But all in all, it's been a very volatile week, right? But look, let's have a look at the markets and see what's going on there. Okay, so we can see here, we've got, what do we got here? We've got the market cap at 3.4 trillion. You've got 179 in volume for the 24 hours. So that's up a bit on what we've seen recently. Dominance is 61.7. That's gone up a bit this week. And you got ETH at 9. So that's gone up a bit this week as well. And we'll see that when we look at the indicator dashboard that we look at each week. Hyperliquid still up there in the trending tokens. I have got a video on that, so you can go and watch that. The video I released yesterday was actually a one I'd been wanting to do for a while on Virtual's protocol. So that's another good one to watch. That's AI. Now look, if we look at the weekly as we do in this show each week, Bitcoin up slightly, Ethereum again up, as I was saying, but we can see that on the 24-hour, we can see the market has been decimated, and there's a lot going on. The Israel-Iran conflict is is playing into that, I'd have to say, considerably as well. So any instability, we often see these things, right? So let's see how that plays out over the next week. Hopefully, well, not just from a crypto perspective. Obviously, we've got real people that are getting impacted by this, which is terrible. No matter which side you're on, it's not good. Cardano is down. Now you've got Hyperliquid, as I said, that's just continuing. Like, it's been going for months like this. It's just continuing to pump. We've got 21.2% increase on the weekly, which is big. We've got Bitcoin Cash at 9.8. What other big movers up or down have we got here? You've got, look, Uniswap's up 23% on the week. Aave at 11.6. Internet Computer is 8.3. What else we got here? Gates down 8.4. Casper, very disappointing for those that are on Casper at the moment. It's down. It's now at 7.5. Now, you know, that's a big drop from its all-time high. That's a massive drop from its all-time high. I know there's stuff going on in the community about the X account, the ownership and the marketing, and obviously being a decentralized project, it doesn't have a centralized marketing and things like that. But, you know, that is concerning. I'm a Casper holder. I'm a big believer in Casper overall. Solves the trilemma. I think it will go well in the long term, without a doubt. Like, there's no reason that it shouldn't, especially with it now being at 10 blocks per second. You know, we'll see that increase. We've got smart contracts are meant to be coming out soon. So there's a lot of positivity to come for Casper. So for me, I feel that's undervalued, and I'll probably look at DCAing my position into that. Again, not financial advice. This is just what I'm doing. You do you. There's obviously a lot of people that aren't fond of Casper. That's fine as well. There's thousands of tokens. Pick which ones you like. Pick which projects you like and you believe in. Sky 17.2. What else we got here? You got SPX 6900 at 27.2. That had, as we can see by the graph over here, that had a massive pump earlier in the week. So the pullback's not surprising when the whole market's pulling back, but still strong for the weekly. Fartcoin again. Fartcoin's just always there. 24%. Since I started the channel, it's been there. So yeah, look, a lot going on in the top 100. Let's have a quick look at the crypto bubbles, which just gives us that you know, zoomed out view and all on one page, which I quite like. A little bit of green floating around, not a lot. And this is on the weekly. You go to the daily, it's not good. So like I say, zoom out. It'll make you feel a bit better. And if we look at the 100 to 200, again, bit of green floating around. Good to see Aero there. That's the exchange on base. AIOZ, I remember being in that 2021. I actually was I'd set up a node for it actually when they were doing all the testing and everything like that. That was my first. That was around when I was dipping my toe into crypto initially, trying to learn as much as I could in one go. I tend to go up things 100 miles an hour. Look, let's jump into the category, the indicators. I've added the RSI now. I've taken away. I did have the top 5 there. We see that in the other things. So I've moved that out now. Social metrics is just a placeholder. I'm undecided what to put there. But again, I've already spoken about the market cap and the dominance. Coinbase app has improved. It was out in the 400s. Still nowhere near where we're expecting it for a top. You know, again, we've had fear and greed drop. And I'd expect we'll probably see that over the next couple of days with the market where it is and what's going on globally. I'll get into the ETF a little bit later. The RSI, look, it is down again, so well down from the 70 now and dropping. So it's still in the good opportunity range, I believe. Not at the 30. It's sort of bang smack in the middle, right, of the overbought and the oversold. So something to keep an eye on. Again, the other indicators haven't moved dramatically. Now, if the ETF, as I was talking about, you can see it's around 1.1. So it's been really strong for the first 4 days of this week. Starting to drop off a bit here. We don't have the data yet for the 13th. I would not be surprised at all to see that as an outflow. But where I have been impressed is looking at the ETH ETF. So if we look back here, there's been not massive demand. I mean, it's been good soldering on, but then we hit this week, right? And we've had some really solid demand. I know BlackRock's been loading up on these as well, right? So again, I don't have the 13th data. I would not be surprised again to see that as an outflow with the market the way it is and everything that's going on. But, you know, we'll have to wait and see when that data gets released. Now, if I jump into the categories, the key categories that I look at anyway, there's lots of different categories you could be looking at. But for me, DeFi led last week. It's leading again this week in the moves. NFTs is down. Now, again, if I did this tomorrow, they could all be red. Okay, so, but they will, if it's market driven, you'll generally, like the whole market, you'll generally get them all moving similarly. So at the moment, DeFi very strong, AI very strong. So that Virtuals Protocol video I released yesterday, Virtuals Protocol is AI, but also got a bit of a hint of DeFi in it. So go and watch that video. It could be something you would be interested in. But again, do your own research. It's really just a guide to point out a few things for you, give you a start in your own research on that token. But yeah, the two strongest for this week are actually, you know, related to that. So definitely check that out. Let's jump in now. So CoinGecko, top 20 trending tokens. Again, you know, for their top 20, you can see a few of the ones were the ones that I mentioned as the X top 20, the top 5, sorry, that I spoke about. Not surprisingly, you know, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, not surprisingly, it's the solid, you know, top 10 tokens that are getting that trending at the moment with everything that's going on. Hyperliquid still sitting there. Fartcoin still sitting there. It's been there for both been there for a long time. There's that Virtuals Protocol I spoke about that I did the video on yesterday. Yeah, so that's the top 20 Aave there. Fartcoin, home, as I said, Ton and Keto. That's been a bit of a mover. Okay, that has, because I know that's come up a little bit lately. One thing I just wanted to touch on is, you know, we're talking about adoption at the moment in this cycle, okay, especially whether it's institutional adoption, regulatory adoption, countries adopting it. And when we start seeing things like Coinbase partnering with Shopify, which is obviously one of the big giants in the shopping space, we're starting to see that news along with things like Walmart and Amazon exploring stablecoin payments. Stablecoins are going to be big, right? And they're also a way of protecting the US dollar dominance because they're all in US dollars and ideally in one way, shape or form and type of product, they're backed by those. So, which is why you don't need a CBDC, right? You can just stablecoins fill that. But yeah, again, around the adoption piece, big news in my mind. You know, once you get these things adopting the stable coins, like Walmart, Amazon, Shopify, things like that, it's big for the market, right? But look, overall, been a really volatile few days, and that's going to continue, right? That's going to continue for a little bit, definitely. But I think we need to be watching, obviously, what's happening globally. Again, at this point, it's still too early for me to say if that's going to impact the bull run and the Q4 expectation that I have for the bull run. At the moment, I'm just reserving my judgment on that for a little while. I want to see how this plays out over the next couple of weeks, how the market reacts to it over the next couple of weeks. Look, we've got the FOMC meeting on the 18th as well, so that's gonna be a rates decision. We'll see what happens with that. That could have an impact. Well, it will generally have an impact depending on what narrative Powell comes out with around that. So keep an eye out for that, and I'll probably touch that again as we look at what's coming up in the next week in my weekly video I do on that as well. But look, Ideally, you're getting some value out of these videos. If you are, please hit the like button, smash the subscribe, click that bell notification so you get notified every time I release a video. And remember, crypto's an adventure. Get into it. I'll see you in the next one.